Like what Ohtani could potentially make in a year could be potentially more than an NHL team's salary cap.
Oh, you mentioned money. Exactly what you said. Going back to Francis Ngannou quickly, this Fury fight will pay him more than his UFC salary combined.
If you're fighting, you're defending the belts as a champion. There's no way. This is not a WWE,
Yeah,
man.
so
You
Fury-
can't have a non-title fight.
Fury
right?
Ngannou to be professional non-title belt.
That makes no sense at all.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the BTR podcast. And today we're finally back. It's been a week since we sat in front of a camera, recorded.
Yeah.
A lot has. Well, I wouldn't say a lot has happened, but some stuff has happened over that week. We dropped a couple of videos for you guys in between. You know, the power of pre-recording.
Yeah, pre-recording.
We still dropped everyday shorts. We still dropped everyday reels and TikToks. And we dropped our first reaction video. Make sure you guys check that out. And we also dropped our first non-sports podcast video, just explaining our journey. You know, we hit 100 subs. So we decided for you guys to get to know us a little bit better, how the Beyond the Radar journey has started.
Yeah, still on our uploading streak because Monday, Thursdays, we still uploaded something. We haven't missed a day yet. But like I said, more of these videos, like, comment, subscribe. So let's get into it.
No, before we get into it, audio, make sure you guys check us out on Spotify and any other podcast audio platforms you guys listen to. If you enjoy this, give us a 5-star rating and download the podcast. It'll help us out a lot.
All right, now let's get into it.
Yeah, okay. We're finally starting with something that's not NHL, not soccer, and not NBA. It's baseball season, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, like everything's died down now,
since
right?
we last recorded, which was the last Sunday, the next day was the Home Run Derby and All-Star. So we'll start there because we do have some kind of big not breaking now, but big news that popped up after that All-Star break. But we'll go to the All-Star and Home Run Derby first. The NL, we'll go All-Star. NL finally have won it. How surprised were you that it took more than a decade or close to a decade or whatever?
I'm a little bit surprised because the NL has some players, right?
Yeah.
Like, well, I guess a healthy Ronald Acuna helped, but like it doesn't matter. They switch a lot. But the AL just proved that they're a superior league these past 9 years, I guess.
Yeah.
And they finally did it. I'm actually surprised that
they were down 2-1.
Yeah.
Oh, for people that don't know, All-Star games actually have a big implication because
is it?
I think it still is. The winning conference is home field for the playoff for the World Series.
Didn't they get away from it for a little bit?
I'll double check,
but yeah, that's why you kind of like the All-Star. But I feel like if that's the case, that's what makes the games competitive. You have something on the line, right?
Yeah,
and it's something big too.
Since 2017, the home field advantage has been awarded to the World Series team having. Okay, so I got changed.
So it got changed, right?
Changed.
Yeah,
it was previously, but
it used to be like that.
Yeah,
I remember them getting it changed. That's what kind of made All-Star games a little bit less fun to watch because there's nothing on the line.
Yeah,
but then also understandable because the players are trying to have fun. They're not trying to, play for something.
They kind of do though. To be fair, I'll allude that to a second. But just what I was talking about earlier, they were down 2-1 heading into the top of the 8th inning because NL was away because it was in Seattle.
Yeah, it was in Seattle.
But an unsuspected guy hit a home run who ended up getting MVP, which was Elias Diaz, catcher of the Colorado Rockies.
First of all, how the hell does a Rockies player make it to the All-Star game?
I mean, everybody gets one.
Is it that?
Yeah.
So like the NHL?
Bro, look how it's like the NHL. This one actually makes sense if you think about it because there's a lot.
There's a lot of people.
Like the Blue Jays alone had 5 people representing, depending on who they played or not. We don't know,
yeah.
But the Atlanta Braves, I'm sure everybody should get one representative for baseball.
Okay, yeah.
Because everybody just plays one inning anyway.
All right, then Colorado Rockies, that's the best news you'll get all season.
Yeah.
Until you get next year's first overall pick. So, yeah, that's really surprising, though.
Yeah, so that was, we didn't have to go too much into it because it happened on Monday. But Home Run Derby, the All-Star Game Tuesday. Home Run Derby Monday. And you're wearing the jersey of a team. And we have a pennant of a team that won the Derby.
Vladdy Guerrero Jr. has done it in his second appearance.
Fun fact, Vladimir Guerrero Sr. and Vladimir Guerrero Jr., the first father and son duo to actually win the home run derby. I believe Vladdy Sr. had done it back in '09, and obviously Vlad Jr. was a finalist, hitting 91 home runs, was it?
Yeah, like 4 years ago.
2019.
Yeah.
And decided to come back, which was a little surprising because he was struggling this year in terms of power hitting, like home runs especially, but came back and, took out one, probably, would you call it, a little bit of an upset against Julio Rodriguez, just because of the home field advantage.
Home field advantage. Julio was coming off a 41.
And yeah, he broke Vladdy's first round record as well.
Yeah, he's coming off like a 40+ home run performance as well. So then we're like, when we were watching, we're like, oh shit, yo, Julio's gonna win. And then Vladdy upset Julio.
Because Julio struggled mightily.
And then it was a Rosarena in the finals.
Yeah, and then Rosarena was just going like, was it speed run hitting?
Yeah, he was speed hitting the whole time. And another one who say it was like Mookie Betts. Man didn't even take a timeout. Yeah. He just went 3 minutes straight.
Not even Mookie Betts.
Yeah.
Pete Alonso, whoever was pitching to him, needs to be their starting pitcher.
Bro, that's the greatest pitching performance by a Mets player this year.
Or coach or whoever it was.
Yeah.
But the reason why we're saying that is because Pete Alonso couldn't hit a ball.
Yeah, because the guy was throwing sliders away.
Yeah, home run derbies meant for like literally
fastballs, middle of the
or
plate.
like just lob middles or fastball
like lobs.
middles. Yeah, not sliders.
It's not even like a fastball, like a 60 mile per hour.
Yeah,
right.
But yeah, so the home run derby, it was entertaining this year especially. But here's my question to you: out of all major sports skills challenges, is home run derby the number one now? Now at this point,
I mean, they're all not great. But I would definitely put home run derby at the top.
Here's the thing, right?
Like, there's nothing in the NFL.
NFL has nothing.
NHL for me has fallen off because
So slap shot was probably
the hardest shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then Chara and Weber
are no longer playing.
Yeah.
But the only one that came to contention at that time was the iconicness of the dunk contest, but that's no longer the case because how much more creative could you be? 3-point contest is still my favorite out of the NBA now because of that. But I feel like here's the difference, right? The dunk contest, I'm going to bring that up because at least with the NBA, you get star power, or the 3-point contest, you get the star power, right? Steph Curry gets involved. Dame Lillard got involved this past year, right? And Klay Thompson a couple of times.
And they got like Trae Young.
And then if you look at MLB, it's the big names: Julio Rodriguez, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Pete Alonso is a household home run derby name, right? And the other big names, Mookie Betts. Right, he's like, I just wanted to do it for the sake of it, whether he's not a power.
His wife made him do it.
Yeah, you don't get that in the dunk contest anymore. There's no more
Jordans.
Like
Kobe's.
You're literally getting a G League player, Mac McClung, to do it.
Yeah, like there's no.
No disrespect to Mac McClung, but you want to see LeBron, Zion, and all the Zion's injured. But I'm just saying, like Ja, for example, do them right because back in the day, Kobe did it once.
Kobe won, right?
Kobe won in his rookie year.
Yeah.
Vince Carter. Reason why the Raptors became on the map. Air Canada, literally. Michael Jordan versus Dominique.
Air Jordan.
Right? Dominique Wilkins, the human highlight reel.
Yeah.
Like, their names came because of this stuff, right? Nate Robinson and, like, Spotted Webb. Like, it was enticing to watch because you wanted to see that short guy dunk. That's no longer the case with the ML or NBA dunk contest. Plus, you could only be creative because Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon took it to the next level.
Yeah, they did.
But the MLB, you're getting these big household names and you're seeing the power. Yeah, it's like the 3-point contest. You're just literally hitting a home run out like you're shooting a 3-pointer. But it's just that the competition is still exciting because the big names are involved. I feel like that's the biggest reason why I think the home run derby in general is probably the best.
Yeah, I would agree with you. One point is like not the thing with the MLB has a lot of stars, right? So like not everyone would participate. Like obviously you would want to see like Ohtani and Trout. But then Trout's also...
like, if Ohtani was an injured, I would love to see Ohtani.
Like Ohtani would have been in there. Could have been in there for sure. Especially with leading home runs. And then... But yeah, I would say this one was like... There were like few big names because Pete Alonso has like won it twice. So it makes sense for him to be in there. Julio, Seattle, makes sense.
And he won last year.
And he didn't win last year.
He did?
Juan Soto won last year. He lost in the final.
Okay.
And then Vladdy being back after... his dominating performance in 2019.
He's still a household name. Yeah, he's been struggling this year. He's still a household name.
Yeah. And then
Mookie Betts is arguably a top 5 player in the league, top 10 player in the league.
Just to see a small guy do it.
Yeah.
He said himself, I ain't winning.
Randy Rosarena, big name.
Randy Rosarena, definitely. Especially
right,
after...
You got Luis Robert, right?
Luis Robert from Chicago, yeah.
So you
He's
got big
having a
names.
big
Like
year.
these guys are all actual all-stars, right?
Like all these
Dunks,
guys are having good years, right? Obviously, some like
arguably the best of their team as well.
arguably the best on their team. Yeah,
So, yeah, for me that's the reason. But finishing off the All-Star, is MLB All-Star game the best All-Star game in terms of competition? I feel like it is because they're close games.
they're usually close
Yeah,
games, right?
because the sport itself, no one's really gonna go hard hitting, right? Like, yeah, Romano got hurt, but that was because of a muscle thing. It wasn't like he got, he was going in full blazing, sliding to first base to get someone out type of thing, right? Whereas obviously football, you ain't gonna touch anybody because why risk getting a hit?
Yeah,
And NHL, same thing. And then NBA, it's like kind of the same thing too, because who knows when you could pop it Achilles. NBA did a good job for a little bit with that new
that
format.
was first 2 years, but then now it's fallen off again.
Yeah, let's see if because they're rumored to go world versus America or North America versus world.
Yeah,
Again, is that really gonna go?
not really.
How much? It depends on. At the end of the day, when it comes to All Stars, it has to be like home run or money incentives and bonuses.
There's always incentives, right? That's why
You need incentives, which
that
is
MLB incentive was nice.
NBA incentive was nice too because the charity.
The charities,
And then
yeah.
they made it like, ego gets in, like that one in Chicago, when like you ended the game with LeBron, Kawhi, whoever, Harden. I think
Like all
Chris
the big
Paul,
names on the
all the big
court.
names on the court, and then on Nick Nurse's team was like obviously Pascal and Kyle Lowry, but you had like Kemba Walker, Giannis,
Pascal wasn't there.
and Joel Embiid.
Was Pascal
Yeah,
there?
he was on it.
He was a starter.
He was trending because Nick Nurse put him on. That's why. But no, I feel like the MLB in general, just because it's just that type of sport where it's not heavy contact. Like literally in the first, wasn't in the first inning where like,
Two amazing catches.
yeah, like diving catches or
Like
whatever.
Adolis Garcia, like robbed, maybe a potential homer, but definitely extra base hit.
Yeah.
Same with
So
like
I
one batter later,
and I feel like-
Rosarena robbed one.
And for the NHL, especially with the NHL, MLB players want to be there and have fun. Like you saw Gurriel Jr. and Vladdy, obviously former teammates, playing rock paper scissors, right? You see all the joking around with them, but they also take it a little bit serious. NHL is like those players are forced to be there, and a lot of their stuff is like gimmicky. You know what I mean? Like that stupid like Kachuk and Luongo thing this past year in the NHL was like
Those like the
so
breakaway.
forced. It was very forced. This one doesn't. This one MLB in my opinion seems more genuine.
Like, it does, yeah. They're definitely more genuine. Obviously, it'll be more fun because when you had that incentive of winner gets the home field,
Yeah.
is also like another big reason.
Like guys like the Colorado Rockies player Elias Diaz.
Yeah.
Why would he give a shit about?
Yeah, no, but like still, but it makes it fun to watch because there's
Yeah.
something to play for, right?
Exactly.
And that's when sports are the best, when there's something
Yeah.
to play for. That's why playoffs are always goated.
Yeah, like to be fair, every All-Star game shit. Usually, like a lot of players just want to go on vacation, right?
Yeah,
But I feel like the MLB one, people want to be there genuinely. That's
like the
just
players
that's
like
my
want to
feeling
be
of
there.
it.
Yeah.
NHL is just like, why am I here? Like,
Yeah,
yeah. Let's move on. We mentioned Ohtani earlier, and there's some news that had come out right after the All-Star break. Excuse me, that the Angels are fielding offers, and
it's the smart thing to do.
it's a smart thing to do. Yeah, like I'm not gonna say I'm surprised by it, but I'm kind of surprised as well. Because they were having a playoff push, but now Mike Trout's
It's
injured
not
and now they
happening
struggle.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough.
With the AL
Mike
being-
Trout has to come back, and they both have to go like lethal mode again.
Like they have two teams that are clearly better than them in a division. Another team that's better than them on paper, but are not performing well in Seattle.
Yeah,
AL East, all 5 teams could make the playoffs, but then
obviously one can't.
obviously one can't.
And then the Central's just the
Central,
division winner.
Central, you're gonna have one team.
Yeah,
So realistically, are you gonna make it? No.
unless they go fire mode.
It's not happening.
But Trout has to come back for that. And,
Trout has to come back.
and we mentioned it last week
and
when we were talking about this, right? And we're like, okay, the difference between this and Aaron Judge is the Yankees started off with a heater, and they didn't need to like force a trade or whatever.
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Unless you are physically, you have written signage, whatever from Ohtani that the Angels will give him a $500 million contract, because at the minimum he's gonna get that.
It'll
And
probably be like
if Trout got
700
450,
million.
he's getting like 550 probably, because
Yeah, like 600 mil, man.
right. And you need to trade him. Like you can't be that. Like it's similar to Mbappe and PSG situation, because PSG's made it clear like we extend you or we're selling you.
Yeah, you
now.
can't let him go for free.
You can't let this guy go for free. That's why
Yeah.
PSG back then, quickly soccer related, that they offered that amount of money because they didn't want to lose him for free, because they could try to.
Yeah, it's the same situation.
Yeah, so it's the same situation. Are you gonna win this trade? Hell no, because it's Shohei Ohtani and he literally does two things at elite level.
And now elite level, right? Because his pitching, when he won his first when he won his MVP, wasn't at the greatest, but then the year after, his pitching went up and his batting never fell off.
Yeah, and then
So
this
like
year he's leading in home runs.
he's been improving
Yeah.
from his MVP year.
And even if you give him like a 10-year contract, 5 years of that, maybe he's pitching, he'll probably stop pitching eventually because that's the one that will tire him the most in terms of arm. But yeah, so it's a smart thing to do. They need to field offers. The question is now, here's the tough part on teams offering. For example, the Blue Jays. Is he gonna extend there? Is the main question. Like, how much are you gonna get rid of? Like, if you're the Blue Jays, realistically, how much of you already gave up your best guy in Gabby Moreno in the offseason, right? Obviously, we're mentioning Blue Jays because that's the team we know the most. But even if other teams, right? How much are you gonna get rid of just for the sake of winning a World Series this year? Which is, you still want, that's the ideal goal. But if you don't win, it's like, okay, well, he's gonna walk to, like, for example, the Dodgers.
Yeah, that is a tough situation, for sure. Because realistically, you think about like 7 of your top 10 prospects are gone.
Yeah.
Plus maybe a solid position player right now.
Hypothetically, if you're the Jays, what would you offer knowing he won't extend?
Knowing he won't extend?
Would you even offer anything? Like,
I can't take that risk because now you're going to be the team looking like the dumbasses because he didn't sign. Yeah. And if you don't win, it's a double L.
Like, it's a different situation if, like, for Kawhi Leonard, you actually ended up winning the chip, right?
Yeah, so it wasn't.
So it didn't matter, but
it didn't matter
after
as
that,
much.
That's why people are pre-debating that Kawhi Leonard situation because they're like, oh, the Raptors are stupid. He doesn't even want to be there.
Yeah.
Right? This is going to be the same. Who knows? Because here's the thing. The Blue Jays are an intriguing team because I think they were one of the finalists, if I'm not mistaken.
To, like, sign him originally, yeah.
And the reason why he chose the Angels was because it's closer to Japan. So he seems to be a West Coast guy, which is why the Dodgers is the biggest favorites, right?
Yeah.
And you saw what the Dodgers did. They did not bring back Trey Turner. They let Scherzer go as well.
They let Cody Seager go the previous year.
Yeah, so they still have an ability to big name hunt, right? Get rid of some of their players. You could get rid of one or two everyday players that you don't use much. I also traded Freddie Freeman. That's bullshit. I don't think Freddie Freeman is going anywhere. There's no chance. But yeah. So if you're the Angels, you field offers. You take the best offer, but it's gonna be tough because we're gonna allude to the NHL in a second. But it's kind of like the Kachuk situation. It's kind of like the Brinkett, which we're gonna get into. But yeah, like if I'm the Jays, if I know you could convince him to extend. Sure, get rid of something. But like realistically, we don't have. I think, or like for us to give up is going to be like guys like Ricky Tiedemann.
We don't have enough assets.
Stuff, right?
We don't have.
But I don't even think the Dodgers really do either. But I feel like they're the only team that will extend him.
Yeah.
That he'll be willing to sign to. Like he seems like to be in the West Coast guy based on what.
And it's still LA. It's not moving.
Easy to go to Japan. Is no way.
That thing, and he's not moving anywhere. It's still LA.
Yeah, because here's the thing: the Yankees are rumored. Obviously, I hope he doesn't hit there.
Please don't go there.
But a team like that could still pursue him because it's the Yankees. They're a marquee franchise, right? Arguably a top 5 franchise in sports, not just not just baseball historically, right? You know, teams like, I don't think San Diego's gonna do it, but San Diego, it's LA. So like the favorites that emerge are LA and San Francisco. I saw, and then New York's up there. I saw Texas as a name, but again, it all depends on what Ohtani wants. Is he gonna stay or I just feel like at this point he's going, like he's walking.
I think he's going. Either getting traded or walking. I think he's gone because Angels they don't have the pitching to win, man. Yeah, they don't. And as a player, I'm sure Ohtani wants to be in a winning situation. I'm sure Ohtani wants to experience playoff baseball, where Trout has probably very minimal. Yeah, probably a 1 game.
Okay, hop at that quickly before I look up some teams. Do you trade Mike Trout as well? Just might as well go full reset.
I don't know if they're gonna. I don't.
I mean, yeah, it's like the Dame situation. You want to keep at least attraction. You don't want to be like the A's, but at the same time, you could just go all out nuts. Like you have the 2 best players in baseball.
If you do that, then you're probably gonna get rid of Rendon as well.
Well, Rendon's contract's bad, so I heard Adnan Virk on the radio say that just package that with Ohtani. They kind of like Josh Bell and Soto last year.
Yeah, but Josh Bell was still decent.
Yeah, I think Rendon's contract's almost up.
Rendon is a big contract because Rendon won with the Nationals, and then the Angels offered him that offseason, and Rendon was a big reason the Nationals won.
Okay, are the Angels the most cursed freaking franchise in sports? Because you brought in Albert Pujols after he won the World Series, couldn't do shit with him. You brought Trout, drafted him, I believe, best player in baseball before Ohtani came in. You won the Ohtani sweepstakes.
You got Rendon after
you brought Rendon. You got like guys, certain guys to compliment, and didn't work out, and you didn't do a good job.
Yeah. Also
keeping
with
him.
Rendon, his big part is injuries. Like he's
Yeah,
not on the
but
field
are
a
they the
lot.
most cursed franchise because they didn't even make the playoffs, let alone do anything in the playoffs?
I mean, are they really cursed or is it just bad managing at this rate?
I mean,
Obviously, the
both could be
curse.
true is a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit because Trout gets injured a
Because you have
lot.
the two best players in baseball. Like, how are you not like able to make the playoffs?
Obviously,
I'm so confused.
injuries are a key part, but you don't have the pitching.
That
You
too.
genuinely don't have
Yeah.
the pitching to win.
Like they're a team that could have realistically went after like Scherzer or someone too.
Yeah,
But yeah.
they genuinely don't have the pitching to win.
Plus, I think they
in
have
the starting
they
pitch.
have an ownership situation
Yeah.
because they're looking to sell as well. Kind of
Yeah.
like Washington with Soto.
Like, can you name me a starting pitcher on Angels?
The only why and he's not there anymore was Syndergaard. That's all I
The
know
only
they got
one,
in pursuit.
the only one I could think of right now, two maybe, which is Tyler Anderson, who had a good good year with the Dodgers last year,
Yeah.
and then Patrick Sandoval, who I think is pretty decent.
Yeah.
Other than that, I can't name you a bullpen guy or a starting pitcher.
Yeah. Like they're 6 games off second.
And then those two guys aren't aces either. They're like mid rotation and back of the rotation
yeah.
for starting pitchers.
They're 6 games out of the wild card, which is second in their own division alone, right? And 12 games off the first wild card spot, which is the Orioles. And yeah, so for me, it's just get rid of them. You know, it probably will be the Dodgers. But if a team really wants to rent out, just like want a rental to do something, I mean, realistically, the only one that makes sense to be a true rental, like if that could do something in the playoffs, is Philly.
Yeah.
That's like not underwhelming because San Diego's underwhelming at the end of the day, and there's rumored Soto trades here
That's insane.
because he's not extended either.
Because if he gets traded back to back years and Ohtani gets traded, we might witness the best
Greatest
trade deadline.
in history. Yeah. No one in the NL Central.
Because that's
Maybe the Giants, but then they're not even in a playoff spot, I believe.
because that Soto deal last year was like, yo, Soto
got traded.
got traded,
Yeah.
and now he might get traded again. But then now it's like Ohtani's getting traded. That's just like
By the way, Yankees are tied for last now with the Red Sox, but
that's like.
but again, like the Jays
they're
make
all like,
sense to trade for. But
they're
I
all
don't- I
about
don't-
500.
For a rental, the Jays do make sense slightly.
But the Jays don't have whatever the Jays.
Yeah,
give
but
up,
I'm just saying
Yeah.
teams. I'm not saying what they have. Yankees,
It's
obviously.
just basically everyone who's in the playoffs right now.
Yeah,
and fighting for playoffs.
not Seattle, but like Houston.
Like whatever team he joins that's in the playoffs, obviously could become a World Series favorite.
Yeah, so that's the Ohtani news. We'll see what happens with that. Trade deadline is August 1st, so it's a couple of weeks away.
It's definitely going to be.
We need to up our baseball knowledge for
That's
a little
for sure,
bit.
yeah.
Because, we're, depending on what trades happen, we got to see, right? Like, who is actually worth the trade. Because at the end of the day, we don't know whose prospects are the greatest.
Yeah, right. We
Like,
don't know
who has the best.
because
Because that's what trades are.
yeah,
That's what trades
it's
are.
not picks, it's prospects, right?
Yeah, you might get
Because-
like with Soto, you got 2 everyday players with the prospects, but yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, they also got some. They got one good pitcher prospect from them that I believe pitches from now.
Yeah, okay, let's move on. There's some news circulating during All-Star Weekend as well. We mentioned playoffs earlier, so this is about the playoffs. The MLBPA, the Players Association, want a pitch clock time increase. Some people are arguing they should get rid of it for the playoffs, kind of like the extra inning rule with the base runner, right? So my question to you is, should the pitch clock exist for the playoffs?
It should exist for playoffs, in my opinion. Yeah, it's tough. It's kind of tough to see. But I'm just thinking about like what players are used to, right? Like they spend 162 games just to get used to a pitch clock. The thing with the extra innings rule, just you don't play every game with extra innings.
Yeah, that one makes sense, right?
Yeah, so that one makes sense. But with the pitch clock, you play every single game, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind a time increase, but I don't think you can.
But
I
it's
think
such a rhythm, like especially for pitchers, it's such a rhythm sport as well.
it is a rhythm sport, yeah.
And because you see how Manoa is struggling, and people are saying that it could be the pitch clock could be the reason for it,
Obviously, yeah.
right? One of the obviously we don't know if that's the reason, but we're
But
arguing
the main reason with Manoa is just like
his command wasn't the greatest.
his
but-
command was the great.
but
He
no,
didn't.
but-
You could tell he didn't prepare enough in the
yeah, okay, let's go
offseason.
back to the original topic. But yeah, no, I agree that it should just stay because you're using it anyways, right? And now, obviously, we've watched playoff baseball. It's the patience, the edge of our seat moments are there, right? Like when we're watching, it doesn't matter how long the time is. It's like similar to extra innings because the whole point of the extra inning rule is not to make the game long. Obviously, it started because of COVID, but they kept it because the time was short, right? When it came to extra inning games. Obviously, the pitch clock helped baseball immensely, like, and the shift as well because runs went up, bases game stolen went up. The reason why people have an issue is imagine ending a game on a 3 full count, 2 out, playoff on the line, World Series on the line, whatever on the line.
Pitch clock violation.
And pitch clock violation is the reason why you lose the game, whether you're being the batter or the pitcher.
But what if you what if there's a possibility to get obviously you might keep it for the whole World Series, but what if you get rid of it in the finals?
No point.
There's no point, right?
At that point, I was like, why? Because it's such a rhythm game. You're telling batters and they have their thing. Yeah, no, maybe muscle memory will just keep them going at that pace, but yeah, it's a tough argument because I get the point of not ending a game like that, but at the same time, it's the rules, right? You gotta follow the rules, and Rob Manfred, even myself, I don't know much about the baseball rules and stuff, but I feel like as a commissioner, he's one of the worst. But this is one of the best things he's ever done in baseball with the pitch clock stuff. So I guess you could try it out. So you could try it out during the playoffs and see how it works and maybe remove it next year. I don't know, but at this point, just keep it because that's what you're used to anyways.
My one reason for it and my one reason against it, my one reason for it is that the MLB playoffs are entertaining, right? People may not like baseball, but when the games are on the line, in the playoffs, there are a few games that produce.
Yeah.
My one reason against it, sometimes, I'm for someone like me, who's a little bit busy, can't watch an entire playoff game.
Yeah.
Right? Games right now, MLB games right now, I could watch an entire Blue Jays game and still get stuff done.
Yeah.
Right? Otherwise, if I watch an entire playoff game without the clock, I'm not getting anything done.
Yeah. No, it's a tough argument. I'm fine for either or, but I get the argument on both sides. Because it's time on the line, you're in that pressure moment. You might be in your head and you're like, oh shit, I have a clock to worry about, right? That's. But
at this point, they should get used. They should be
no, but
used
playoffs are a different animal.
Yeah, no playoffs.
Right, you're in that moment. Your crowds are actually full this time.
Yeah, that's
not
true
unlike the regular season. Especially if you're on the away pitcher, and you're in your head oh my god, I need to get this out. Especially if Jordan Romano in a closing situation. Right?
Yeah.
You're in your head and you're gonna be like, oh crap, I need to pitch, and then maybe you throw a wild pitch, you get a penalty or an infraction, violation, and whatever. But it's something intriguing to talk about for sure. I wonder how they'll go around it. I feel like they're gonna keep it. There's no point.
Yeah, I think they're gonna keep it.
We'll keep it how it is, but yeah, but still keep obviously the extra inning rule is off. But yeah, NBA or MLB draft also happened, and the Blue Jays, and I'm promised this isn't because this is not us leading to the Blue Jays, but it's a big news. That's why.
Yeah.
Especially us being Punjabi, South Asian and stuff.
Yeah.
The Blue Jays 20th pick of the draft selected shortstop Arjun Namala.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I'm saying it correctly. In the 2023 MLB draft. And Arjun, who still has to sign he was at Toronto the past weekend, still needs to sign his contract. So hopefully he doesn't go against that. He's an FSU commit, Florida State University commit. And we'll see what happens after that. If he doesn't sign, goes back to the draft, whatever. Could become the first MLB player of Indian descent to even play in the majors, right? Shout out to this is Randeep Janda tweeting, so I'm not saying shout out, but this is Randeep Janda's tweet. Shout out to Jasveer Rucker, who was selected by the Cubs and repped Canada internationally, but never played in the MLB.
Yeah.
And then you already know what I'm going to allude to. Dinesh Patel and Rinku Singh were in the Pittsburgh organization, and you know the movie?
Yeah, $1 Million Arm.
And Arjun also emphasized that as well. It's a unique story.
Did they pitch MLB?
No, MLB, maybe preseason. Maybe preseason. Not
so
MLB.
no one
has pitched or played in
No one
MLB.
has actually played an MLB game.
He has the chance because people are saying that Blue Jays also didn't have a second round pick because of the Bassett trade or a signing. So they lost the pick, which I still don't understand.
Yeah.
But so they could have easily went safe with the first round pick, but they went not project but high, like Anthony Richardson,
high ceiling,
high risk, high ceiling, like that type of thing.
Yeah, and low floor.
And he's a shortstop. We obviously could use something in the pipeline, maybe, but he could hit, he could play defense. Obviously, he needs to get his consistency going, but he has a chance wherever he plays. Right?
That's first round pick. That makes it a little bit more exciting.
Exactly.
He's the only first round pick.
You guys should check out the story on I think MLB Network about Arjun Namala. Talks about his parents are immigrants, came to Canada. By the way, he's only 19 years old, so he still has a lot to work. He's a lot of time.
Yeah.
Because MLB you don't go in right away, but talk about how his actually love for baseball started from cricket because that's what his dad played in India a lot, and because there's nothing really cricket in America. The only sport with a bat and a ball was baseball, and that's how he got into it. You guys should check that out. Every South Asian, Adnan Virk, Randeep Janda, us, were like, damn, it's a proud moment, right? Like first round pick. So, congratulations to Arjun, and love the Blue Jays for making this pick.
So he was the only first round, like Indian descent first round pick, right?
Yeah, the only other Indian player that played in Div 1 is a Sardar Samrat Singh. He no longer plays. In baseball, at least in college or pros, but he also was the first turban Sikh though, which is good. First guy with a pug playing for Boston College, which is a prominent school on its own.
Yeah, Boston College is a good school.
Let's quickly talk, because since we mentioned the draft, we should mention who the first couple of picks were, and they were LSU players, which makes sense. And they were even saying, I think Adnan Virk was saying the first overall pick, the pitcher, the guy that had like 19 Ks in the
19 strikeouts. That's quite in the College World Series.
Would be, one second, let me pull it up. Could also just arguably come in 1 year and pitch. That's how elite he is.
That's insane. Because MLB, you take 3-4 years guaranteed.
Usually.
And that's
like, the only guy I know that came up pretty quick was Spencer Torkelson recently. Because that's when I started paying attention.
What was that, 2 years?
Like within his second year.
Yeah, so 3-4 years if you're lucky. Like if you're
his
like,
name
really
is, the Pittsburgh Pirates drafted him. It's Paul Skenes or Skeens.
Yeah, Paul
I apologize.
Yeah.
LSU pitcher. And then LSU outfielder Dylan Cruz as well. He was I don't know if he hit the game-winning home run in Game 1. But he was obviously a key thing. Like LSU won the College World Series, so it makes sense. The finalists, Florida Gators, were the fourth pick in this. Had the fourth pick. Wyatt Langford went to Texas. I'm not gonna comment too much on the draft. I know you don't know much about this draft. The last question about the draft. Is it weird that's mid-season or right?
Yeah, I did not like. That's weird.
It's like literally after the NHL draft and NBA draft.
Well, I guess they've been doing it for
forever.
But
so I'm saying it's a little weird, but. Okay, let's move on to the NFL quickly. Representing, we're about 2 months away, right? September, like a month and a half away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like legit when
we got some news. We got 3 news actually. I saw I'm missing one on the board there. Just today. We'll start off today. The biggest free agent is off the board, and I'm pissed.
Yeah, that sucks for us.
DeAndre Hopkins made his decision. Kind of a weird one. I thought he wasn't going to sign a 2-year contract, but let me get the exact details out. He is signing with the Tennessee Titans, division rival. That's why I'm pissed, because we had to deal with him in Houston. 2 years, which just surprised me. $26 million. I thought he was going to maybe go 1 year, not minimum, but like whatever, 1 year prove-it contract again. I genuinely thought he was going to be a Kansas City Chief, but the reports where he worked out with 2 teams, at least publicly, that was reported. Tennessee was the first team, and then the second team was New England. Little strange.
I'm a little bit surprised.
Does this put him over the top? No, in my opinion. Like DeAndre Hopkins added my favorite wide receiver, one of the best wide receivers. I still think he's a top 5 receiver in the game. We'll only add does this propel ahead of Jacksonville realistically? Because we know Jacksonville's a team to beat in the division.
Yeah, it's tough. One good thing is like one of their weakest positions obviously improved by a lot.
Yeah, by a lot. That's why I'm like the Colts should jump in on this personally. Just not because of just wins or anything, just leadership alone.
By adding D-Hop. But I'm just surprised them and the Patriots. Like I would thought he would go
the Bills or the Chiefs.
Yeah, I thought he'd go to more.
I know Chiefs have contract or
issues, but I thought he would go to more contending teams, or like more contending teams would be interested.
Yeah, so I don't know. Obviously, Baltimore was heavily rumored early on, but it fell off. Yeah, I'm pissed, but it's obviously got to root against him again. But I feel like this reminds me a little bit of the Stephon Gilmore situation. 2-year contract. The first year goes bad like it did for the Colts, you could ask for a trade in the offseason.
If it goes bad, then he's
or
gone.
If it goes really bad, they could even just trade him in the trade deadline this year.
Yeah,
Worst comes to worst, right?
But I think it'll make them better, because now you have like a D-Hop, Derrick Henry play action game should be a little bit better.
Yeah, like you're arguably the most dominant running back, and probably the most dominant running back. Once upon a time, the best, and probably is arguably still the best. I could still
coming off injuries.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's that, and yeah, we'll see who's the quarterback. Is it going to be right? Because Ryan Tannehill's on his last year, maybe one last run with him, see how it goes. If not, you have Malik Willis arguably doing pretty well
Currently, yeah.
currently, and then you got Will Levis as well. So D Hop, fuck you, but congrats.
Hey, I remember like when he got traded, he's like, yo, probably wanted revenge on the Texans.
Yeah.
Only
He's the reason why I liked Arizona. Now Arizona's back to being irrelevant again, technically.
Yeah.
The only team, I guess Diamondbacks this year, but in general they were irrelevant.
I guess
it's the Suns that were the only relevant.
I guess they really
team.
want the first overall pick.
Yeah. Who knows? Marvin Harrison Jr. will go there.
Or Caleb Williams.
Yeah. Moving on to signings quickly. We don't need to get into it too much. This one was because the what's the thing that
Franchise tag?
Yeah. Evan Ingram extended with Jacksonville, 3 years, $41.25 million. Pretty rich contract. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. Each each positional thing is so
has
different.
their own like contract.
Yeah.
Like,
now wide receivers are supposed to be reportedly getting $20 million a year now.
yeah.
Which is D-Hop getting 13 is still pretty good considering he had a buyout.
And then
the other one was Quinnen Williams got extended as well. Same situation.
that was a must for
4
Jets.
years, $96 million.
I saw his stat.
66 guaranteed.
I saw his stat on ESPN where like their Jets sack rate with Quinnen Williams is first, without him is 31st.
Yeah.
So like Quinnen Williams is the best player on that defense, and that was a must.
Yeah,
for them to
it's
get him.
like players like this you got to bring back. You got to overpay slightly. People
Yeah.
say, "Oh, it's an overpay. It's an overpay," like how other names got signed.
Yeah, but this one seemed like the situation with Quinnen Williams seemed like he wasn't.
he's their best defensive.
Yeah.
Well, you could argue Sauce Gardner, but
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just saying like impact wise on the pass rush, it's him.
Yeah, and then you could like the situation felt like he wasn't gonna play this season.
Yeah.
Like he will hold out.
Yeah.
And especially with you adding in Aaron Rodgers, you needed all your best players on the field.
Yeah. Second largest contract ever for a defensive tackle. In average annual salary, only behind Aaron Donald at $31.6 million. But we already know what Aaron Donald is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So congrats, Quinnen Williams. Obviously, they're a arguable Super Bowl contender. We'll do more of our NFL preview closer to the NFL season.
Yeah.
All
right. Next up, right?
Next up, already mentioned Evan Ingram, right?
Yeah.
That's it. Okay, let's go quick fire quickly.
Yeah, let's go.
Off the bat, let's go with the big news of the combat sports. Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou has officially been announced. We mentioned last pod it was reportedly getting announced, but it's officially being announced. It's a professional bout. It's not an exhibition. However, Fury is not relinquishing his belts, and the WBO or BA are not making him do that either, which is a lot of people kind of the wrong way because when was the last time he defended the belts? Before he retired?
So he's not defending the belt?
No.
Then that's bullshit.
Because he should be relinquishing them. Like, you got Usyk, obviously, we mentioned before.
Like, what do you mean relinquish it?
Like, he should be forced to relinquish his belts because he's not defending it. And it's been a while since he's... Right?
Oh, like he should relinquish it.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't like fought in a while.
And now he's fighting not for the belts, and he's
not for the belts. Okay,
and he's
that's
getting a heavy
BS.
payday, and he fights once a year anyways. Right?
No, that's BS. You gotta be defending the belt.
Yeah.
I think you're defending the belts as a champion. There's no way. This is not a WWE,
Yeah,
man.
so
You
Fury-
can't have a non-title fight.
Fury
right?
Ngannou to be professional non-title bout.
That makes no sense at all.
So the super fight between WBC heavyweight champion and Tyson Fury and MMA star Francis Ngannou will be a professional boxing match, which means the result will appear on both official records.
Might as well go to WWE. Like, what is this
WBC,
bullshit?
Which Fury has done.
Bro, this is so stupid.
WBC officials confirmed to MMA Fighting's Damon Martin on Thursday. However, Fury's title won't be up for grabs, seemingly because Ngannou isn't ranked by the WBC. On Tuesday, it was announced that Fury and Ngannou, the former UFC heavyweight champion who became a free agent earlier this year, would square off in a blockbuster matchup. So it's on October 28 in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. It was unclear at the time if it was an exhibition or not. Fury, of course, and over the course, will meet under traditional boxing rules and over the course of 10 3-minute rounds. So it's a 10-round fight.
Okay.
Oh, we're just kind of stupid.
Which is still weird.
McGregor fought 12.
If it's a professional fight, why is it not 12?
Yeah, I mean 10 rounds are technically professional too.
It still is?
Yeah.
Oh, because it's a non-title fight,
Yeah,
right?
I mean like Jake Paul's fighting 6 or 8 rounds.
No, this is bullshit.
Fury's top
I don't give a shit.
boxing top heavyweight will be returning to the ring for the first time since retaining his WBC last December with the TKO victory over Derek Chisora. Oh no, he came back and fought Chisora. His retirement fight was Dillian White.
All right, so it's still.
Ngannou will be making his pro boxing debut. Yeah.
No. This is fucking bullshit. All right. I don't give a shit if he's not
How
ranked.
long
No,
have you been waiting
boxing-
for? How long have you been waiting for Fury? I know he fought Wilder 3 times. Outside of that, he hasn't fought Joshua, and I don't know whose side is on or Usyk. And Usyk has been calling for this fight.
Okay.
too.
Boxing is a sport where the fighters have to agree to fight, right? They agree to fight.
Promotions are also a part of it.
Yeah, promotions are, but like,
That's why we haven't seen some of these
but
fights.
the fighters are thinking too.
Yeah.
Like, who wants some more money? All that stuff comes
Exactly.
into play. All right. I don't care if he's not ranked. If the fighters agree to fight, put the belts on the line. It's simple as that. If he
And
beats,
we all know Fury's gonna beat him. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, we like Tyson Fury is arguably the best fighter
yeah,
out there.
it is. But what happens if Ngannou wins? What does he get? Nothing.
Yeah.
He
Just
gets
a payday.
nothing.
Just a payday.
He gets just payday. Now what's gonna happen? He gets no belts.
Yeah.
When there's a 2 fight, Fury's a champion.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's strange. We need to see an Usyk fight. Like it's bull at this point. Like I'm scared that his brother's supposed to be fighting arguably KSI. We're not gonna get into influencer boxing, but technically it's a professional bout. And we've seen Tommy Fury pull out in the past as well. So
Like,
it's a
there's
Fury
no-
thing.
There's no doubt that Fury is the GOAT of the heavyweight division. Like
Well,
of this generation.
yeah.
But because like I'm pretty sure it's
Muhammad
like
Ali.
Muhammad Ali, right? Yeah, I'm talking about like this generation. But either retire or either fight. And
And
fight.
he's doing neither. There's so much talking on the
Yeah.
internet, calling everybody. I don't know.
You call out everybody and then you're not fighting anyone.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's that. Speaking of relinquishing, Jamal Hill, light heavyweight division champion of
For
UFC,
UFC.
is ruptured. I hate that word. ruptured
Ruptured
his Achilles.
Achilles.
Like I think like it blew up his Achilles or whatever.
Yeah.
Is relinquishing the belt, and obviously him and Yuri had a good exchange, just saying like, "Hey, thanks for relinquishing it. You're not fucking Tyson Fury, essentially."
Yeah.
And hopefully we meet in the ring. Likewise, Jamal Hill said that, ever since John Jones moved up to heavyweight, that's that division just been cursed. Everybody's either getting injured or losing their belts like right
instantly.
away.
But
like
that-
Jan won it,
Then lost.
defended to Izzy,
Yeah.
and obviously Izzy's a middleweight, so you can't even say too much.
Yeah.
Then lost to Glover.
Lost to Glover.
And then Glover, I think got injured or something happened.
No, so
No, Glover lost it to Yuri.
Yuri
got injured.
Yuri got injured.
And then
Then-
the fight was between the Anklev. What was his name? Remember the fight against Jan where it just ended
Like a no contest?
no contest?
Yeah,
Or it was a
right.
draw or something. And then
Yeah.
Anklev clearly won that fight.
Yeah.
And then obviously Glover lost in Brazil to Jamal Hill.
Yeah. And then Jamal Hill now relinquished it. Now it's what? Blachowicz versus who?
Pereira.
All right, Blachowicz versus Pereira.
So I don't know if that's the title fight. It might. I don't think it has officially been announced yet, which is in a couple of weeks, right?
And then the winner of that is gonna fight Yuri
if he's back healthy.
if
But
Yuri is back healthy.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Who also I think had an Achilles tear or something. But
that's wild. That
that
division
division just got cursed.
it got cursed, but it's also been like they've been putting off some good
Like,
fights recently too.
When we got into UFC, right? For the people at home that was wondering how we got into UFC, it was just to watch the big fights first.
Yeah.
Then we slowly got into like these Brandon Moreno fights, the Volk fights, the Jamal Hill now, right? Like all these random featherweight flyweights. Like we usually just watch like Izzy, Kamaru, and yeah,
And
like
those
John Jones or whatever, right?
he fought.
Now it's just like entertaining because like what's happening, who's winning, and what right now with Pereira in the mix. But yeah, that's hilarious to me.
I would say that light heavyweight division might be like the best division right now.
In terms of competition,
in terms of like competition.
just because everything's open. That's all.
Everything's open,
Everything's
right?
just getting open.
But there's a lot of people that could like have
Yeah.
a case, right? Because Yuri won his fight and never really lost.
Yeah,
Well, as a champ, Jan Blachowicz never really got a rematch.
yeah.
Jamal
Glover lost.
Hill, Glover retired now,
Yeah,
and then Unklev, right?
yeah. He deserves to fight.
He deserves a chance too.
It
And,
should
then,
be like between.
and now you add in Alex Pereira,
Yeah.
so
So
that's be a good division.
who knows if Pereira stays long term?
Yeah.
But people are arguably saying that this should be for the belt, and Izzy moves up and fights
Imagine
if Pereira
right?
wins.
That'd be jokes.
But and also one last, speaking of retiring early, like we mentioned, we talked about Glover and Tyson. Fury Teofimo is not retiring anymore. So
Teofimo Lopez.
and he's called out Devin Haney. Devin Haney is supposed to move up in weight, right? Obviously, he's rumored to also fight Shakur Stevenson at his current weight, but he wants to move up to 140. Teofimo called him out at 140. He's like, let's do it. I know Devin Haney just got arrested. I don't know what the hell's going on. And freaking Tank just got out of jail. So, yeah, so Teofimo's not retiring, and look for a potential Devin Haney fight.
Yeah, a lot of people lightweight.
That
a lot
division
of
is
competition.
stacked. So
Yeah.
let's introduce a new sport that we've never talked about once.
Yeah, let's go.
Tennis.
Yeah, we got
Wimbledon.
the Wimbledon finals
And
today.
we never really watch tennis unless a Canadian's involved. Like, we'll watch it casually. Like, we're huge casuals. If a Canadian is involved, I'm probably watching. Maybe not the whole way through, but at least I'll turn it on, right? And obviously, with all the Canadians coming out, I'd just like bowing out early.
And there's no more
I didn't
Federer.
really watch.
And there's no
And there's
Federer.
no more Federer because that's the guy I watched. But today is final for the men's. Oh, so let's talk about the women's final quickly. I'll quickly search it up. Unseeded took out. I think she's also the one that beat Swiatek, who's number one.
Who's their number
She's
one?
the first number one, no unseeded person to win Wimbledon. Not just a major Wimbledon, and excuse me, her name is. I just want to give her props. Load up score.
Yeah, for the women's one, I remember seeing the quarterfinals. They had like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 in.
Her M. Vondrousova. Looks like a Czech flag, but let me just type it in.
Looks like a Czech flag. You don't know your flags?
No.
You gotta know what a Czech flag looks like. It's like the
Marketa Vondrousova. I'm butchered the hell out of this name. I apologize. Czechia, yeah. So
yeah.
yeah. So congratulations on her. Yeah, and on the men's side, we have a superstar emerging, and Novak Djokovic, survived arguably the GOAT in some people's eyes, is still like one of the highest ranked number 2 seeds. He was in the final, and he fought.
Highest ranked number 2 seeds.
Sorry, one of the highest ranked there.
Yeah.
And he's a number 2 seed.
Yeah.
And fought.
Fought.
No, technically he went 1-on-1, but
they went on a racket match.
Yeah. Carlos Alcaraz. Spanish,
Alcaraz, yeah.
Obviously, the only other one to win it was Rafa Nadal. And did you know, since 2003, the only winners of Wimbledon were the big three of Nadal, Djokovic, and Federer, and Andy Murray won twice. And there as well.
So it was just 4 people.
But the big three dominated most.
Big three dominated most of it.
Mainly, I guess, Federer and Djokovic, because Nadal and Murray each won 2. So this is the first guy not named those guys that actually won it. And we've had a bunch of big names.
Yeah, Carlos Alcaraz,
20-year-old number 1 seed.
20-year-old number 1 seed. When you're in the Wimbledon final against Novak Djokovic, like just a moment, the moment, a 5-set thriller,
5-set thriller.
The moment didn't get to him.
Yeah.
Right, like he was just calm. Still, he lost the first set, and then
I didn't watch
calm.
the match. I watched the 5th set.
Yeah, he lost the first set, but stayed calm and just put on a performance where he's now won his second. Right, this is his second Grand Slam champion because he is the last year's U.S. Open winner as well.
So I don't double check if he's the youngest ever.
But doing this at 20, that's insane.
Yeah, like he's a
and
superstar.
like you're fighting. I'm saying it too now. You're in a match against like possibly the GOAT of tennis. It's like it reminds me of the moment when Bianca Andreescu beat Serena Williams in the U.S. Open in 2019.
Yeah.
Right.
He's not. I think he's not the youngest. He's by 3 years still too late.
Yeah.
But the youngest was 4 years younger than Alcaraz. Sorry, Martina Hingis. So this is taking men and female, male and female in account. But let me just check the male quickly before we move on. Boris Becker was the youngest male single champion All England club at 17 years old. So he's not the youngest, but is one of the youngest. Which is still
that's 17. That's wild.
Yeah. So congratulations to both the Wimbledon winners, and hopefully Canadians will step up and not be injured.
Yeah.
But let's go. You want to go NHL? You want to go NBA, or do you want to go soccer?
Let's go NHL right now.
Okay. So, of course, our luck. Right when we finished recording last Sunday, literally an hour or two later, one of the biggest trades of the offseason has happened, which was we were anticipating, and we literally talked about his name before. I'll get the details out, but Alex DeBrincat has officially been traded from the Ottawa Senators to his home state team of Detroit, the Red Wings. Before I get into the details, very quickly, we know how we had the discussion of who's the best out of those 3 teams: Buffalo, Detroit, Ottawa, and we both said Ottawa. Does that change?
I still lean towards Ottawa.
I'm changing to Buffalo. I feel like DeBrincat is one of the biggest goal scorers, and you're putting him on that team, on arguably even that team. on Detroit as well. That will benefit them. But yeah,
But we'll see what, like, obviously Ottawa improved their weaknesses a lot, so we'll see how much that affects them.
but they
as well.
also lost a pretty
They
good
yes,
goal
they lost
scorer.
their best goal scorer,
Okay,
but you still have many offensive pieces.
yeah. Details of the trade. Ottawa sent DeBrincat to Detroit for forward Dominic Kubalik, defenseman Donovan Sabrango, a conditional first in next year's draft, and the fourth rounder. And also DeBrincat extended with Detroit 4 years, 7.875. So I have two questions. Let me go with the first one. Underwhelming trade in terms of return.
Yeah, a little bit,
But the problem is
DeBrincat
Ottawa had no
leverage.
Yeah, at all. As
Yeah.
good as Calgary did with the Tkachuk thing last year, and Tkachuk obviously in hindsight emerged as a superstar.
And he had a great year.
You still had old guys to get rid of, like Jonathan Huberdeau. At the end of the day, even though he struggled this year, but at the time was great, and you added Mackenzie Weegar, right? Older players. In this case, you just got rid of Dominic Kubalik, and then you brought in a defenseman who might be something for you, and only a conditional first. So it's kind of, and plus you gave up a 7th overall pick for DeBrincat in last year's draft.
Just think that with that trade last year, I was like, holy hell, Kachuk and Huberdeau got traded for each other.
Yeah.
And then obviously this year, DeBrincat ain't Kachuk. He wasn't Kachuk even when Kachuk's last year in Calgary, because Kachuk last year Calgary had like 100 plus points still.
Yeah.
So it wasn't going to be anything like that. But I obviously return wise, it was underwhelming for me a little bit. Like with a conditional first. And then
yeah, you just gotta do the best with the situation at this point, not
Yeah.
let him lose for free.
and then bro, my phone's ringing.
Okay. But I'll give it to you if you need to text him back.
Bro, I'm getting interrupted on the pod.
Yeah. Okay. We're sorry about that.
I'm not.
DeBrincat's age. So let's move on to the next thing here. Is 25. 4-year contract makes him 29, eligible for another big payday in the future. Bridge deal surprise you a bit?
Yeah, a little bit, because he's saying his hometown.
Yeah, not even just that. It's because, like, obviously the cap is going up, so it's not many people sign big contracts this offseason outside of like Timo Meyer, right? And obviously I'm gonna relate this to the Canucks because that's our team. We're gonna bring him up always. But Pedersen's up. Are you scared he might sign another bridge deal?
Yeah, I don't know. It maybe just kind of gets value up more and more.
It's also a risk because what if DeBrincat falls off or gets?
It is a
injured?
risk.
Hopefully he doesn't get injured, but what if he falls off?
Yeah, there's a possibility.
Because it's risk on both sides, right? Now how much is this also Detroit's cap? We don't know because that's why the Pedersen thing was.
Detroit did pay a lot of people.
Yeah,
well.
that's where I'm confused with what Detroit's doing overall because they got rid of Philip Hronek, and we're still confused by that.
Yeah.
Especially as Canucks fans. With PD, it was the same thing because we were out of cap, literally, right? And so let's see what happens with PD's extension. But there's a lot of, not surprisingly, 1-year contracts that were signed, 2 years with options or whatever, because the potential cap going up. And if it doesn't go up, then it's like, oh shit. But
Then it's, you know what's funny? It might be a fun fact.
yeah,
Ohtani might have, like, what Ohtani could potentially make in a year could be potentially more than an NHL team's salary cap.
Oh, you mentioned money. Exactly what you said. Going back to Francis Ngannou quickly, this Fury fight will pay him more than his UFC salary combined. All of his.
That's insane.
So, yeah. Hockey, obviously, we need there has to be a lot of shit done to get that up because McDavid should not be making $12 million, which is like the mid-level exception in the NBA. But
yeah.
New extensions. That's the DeBrincat trade. We're not gonna get too much into it. It's been pretty old news at this point.
It's old news.
Some extensions or signings that happened. Philip Zadina signed a 1-year deal with the Sharks after being, I guess, literally the DeBrincat trade happened after. Alex Newhook extended with the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah.
4 years, $2.5 million.
Yeah.
Fun fact with Newhook, he hasn't played much more games than Hoglander, and he's just barely ahead of him in points.
That's
so it's crazy. Keandre Miller. Oh, I wrote 32 here. 3 years.
Okay.
So this is another bridge year thing I'm talking about.
Yeah.
3 years, 3.872, which is a weird number, but
Yeah.
right shot D, I believe.
Who is it?
Keandre
Keandre Miller? Yeah, I believe so. He's a right shot dude.
So it's like, okay, same thing with DeBrincat. It's like, okay, he's
it's like
betting
a
on
big
himself to be good, and he had a great year this year as well.
Yeah, he's a good player.
So there was that. Not much to talk about there.
All right, let's go.
Let's go NBA or soccer. NBA, I
Let's
guess.
go NBA.
News today came out that Campaign, the rat fast looking guy from Ice Age himself, the Muskrat or whatever, got traded to the San Antonio Spurs. The man who was like celebrating and going crazy, and LeBron was saying, "Humble yourself," got traded, and it's kind of surprising, a little bit surprising for me because it was just for a pick. It was packaged with a second round pick. And in return as well, Bol signed after getting waived by the Magic with the Suns. So the Suns make moves. Like I said, you guys could check out our winners and losers episode. I put the Suns as winners because they did a damn good job, in my opinion, to surround with the new big three.
Yeah, they did.
Bol also gives them an opportunity, like the Lakers with Malik Monk, a place where you could play. I know the Lakers struggled last year, but a place where there's expectations and for you to play and have an opportunity to play.
And you're gonna play it because the Suns.
The original Wembanyama.
The Suns literally have no doubt. The original one. And he's not in a situation where he's pressured, right?
Yeah.
Like the focus is not on him. The focus is on the big three.
Yeah.
So he could easily thrive under that situation.
Yeah, so those are those news. While we're at it, we might as well go trade updates because nothing happened, but we have some trade updates. Number one, Damian Lillard, nothing much. Otherwise,
it's gonna take a while.
Yeah, they're saying that the only update is the Ben Simmons situation with Philly. Expect that they'll be willing to be patient. Second, update Harden still wants out. Okay, I guess,
Yeah.
but and he's dead set on the Clippers, I think, but that's where he really wants to go. Makes sense as well, especially with Russell signing a cheaper contract. But at the same time, Harden's just like okay, it didn't work here. Let me get out. Now I don't blame him, Brooklyn, fully because clearly all three guys left. But at the same time, it's like okay, well, if nothing worked in Houston. Okay, let me get out. You get out. You go to force your way to Brooklyn.
Houston's understandable a little bit for me.
But it's not like Houston didn't help him on like Dame.
Huh?
Like Houston gave him whatever he wanted.
Yeah, that's true too.
It's not Houston's fault for him missing all those 3-pointers in that game.
Well, that was the whole team.
Chris Paul was all injured. I get that, but still, like
That was the whole team.
But no, James Harden himself wasn't.
Yeah, I
injured.
know.
And he the guy who disappears in the playoffs in big games.
It's
clearly
James Harden.
is James
yeah.
Harden, right? You could say it's the team, but at the same time, you should be the guy carrying it.
Yeah.
New one that got added, not really new, but now it looks like it's heating up, is your boy Pascal Siakam.
Which I guess, I don't really understand.
It's
the fact that Fred's gone kind of makes sense. Pascal should be gone, but
they're saying that it's a weird situation here because Pascal doesn't want to leave, so people don't really want to trade for him because he's up for an extension. Raptors are not really talking to him. It's like a messy situation. I know Bobby Marks from ESPN was on Halford and Brough last week, and he was mentioning something like that. And he's like, it's more of a matter of when than if, maybe. Because Raptors also don't want to, now, Raptor fan, you could talk about this. Would you want to extend him to that? Especially if he gets an all NBA team next year. He could be
making a lot of money.
He could be making a lot of money, and there's no point.
There's no point because, like in my opinion, if Fred is gone, he has to be gone too.
Yeah.
Only, like we said, Pirtle, I don't understand that deal at all. But realistically, you're building around Scotty, and then OG, who is also younger than both of them.
You mentioned OG. They want to build around Scotty for sure, obviously.
Yeah.
And OG.
Yeah,
Are you fine with that? Because OG's up for a contract extension.
I'm fine with that because OG is like younger than both of them.
27?
Like he's not close.
I don't know. He's my age, but maybe 25, 26.
Yeah, so he's not close to his 30s. Where like Siakam is legit like almost at his 30s. Fred's almost 30
26.
as well. Yeah, so that's still a decent age, right? And then only issue with OG is can you stay on the court for me. So I don't mind that at all.
Oh, it's 11 o'clock here right now, but OG, happy birthday. July 18th though. So but when this comes out, it's OG's birthday.
Okay, yeah. So
oh, sorry. No, OG's birthday is on 17, yeah. OG's birthday will be on Monday. So when this comes out, so happy 26th birthday.
All right, so he's 26 now.
Yeah, he's 26 now. By the time this
still
comes
decent
out.
age, still a good age to build around, but yeah. So I don't mind it at all. But just
and then you also might extend Gary Trent. So where's the cap gonna go then, right? So obviously the Pirtle thing's kind of questionable. They said they want to build around Pirtle.
It makes sense that Siakam's on the move. Like they will get rid of him.
Yeah. So Atlanta was a rumored spot because they need a power forward. Realistically, what could you get from Atlanta? And Indiana was another one. Now, there was also a rumor that Raptors didn't really engage much, even with a third overall pick on the line, which is kind of strange to me. But
that's so they're not gonna get the best possible return because now they're too late.
Yeah. So, yeah, those are the trade updates. By the way, Jakob Poeltl is 27 years old, so kind of still younger than I thought he was.
Yeah.
He'll be 28 though. But yeah. Um, anything in the NBA? Oh yeah, sorry. There's another couple of things. Rule changes have officially been announced. The same that we mentioned a couple of pod episodes ago that they were gonna vote on, and it officially the results came. In-game penalty for flops resulting now in a technical free throw. Again, what's a flop? We don't know. That's gonna be the hardest part.
Every ref's gonna have their own definition for that.
That's gonna be causing a lot of issues on its own.
Yeah.
More technicals for sure coming. That's for sure.
Yeah.
A second coach's challenge awarded if first challenge is successful.
I like that rule.
De'Aaron Fox, I like it, but De'Aaron Fox tweeted like, or someone, I forgot who it was, tweeted, great, more decision on the ref's hands for both of this. So, there's that. The other thing was I have a Hall of Fame question for you, because the reason why we're bringing up the Hall of Fame is AI is supposed to be inducting D Wade, right? Yeah. And we all know D Wade, Dirk, and all these guys are going in, officially being inducted in. They're already been like announced.
Yeah.
So my question to you is just like to end off. Well, we have one more NBA topic. Not NBA topic. Last topic of NBA.
Yeah.
Current Hall of Fame locks. And I'm going to give you some names and I'll go through teams quickly because this is just like a random page tweet that I'm seeing. LeBron James.
No.
Okay, so yes.
Yes.
And first ballot. We'll go with that. Anthony Davis. Keep in mind, like, he's
not first ballot.
But he's a Hall of Famer.
I mean, yeah, I think he has enough to put himself.
Championship, and he's up. Because you got to think guys like Charles Barkley made it. Guys.
Yeah.
Even like Tim Hardaway Sr. made it. So.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Fame, but he's not first ballot.
Okay, Steph Curry.
First ballot.
Klay Thompson. I say he's Hall of Fame lock, but not first ballot.
Yeah.
Same with Draymond Green.
Yeah, same.
You got to give him.
Like, yeah, you got.
Russell Westbrook.
Same as. I don't think it's first ballot.
Chris Paul. He might be first ballot.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. I know.
I think it depends on a class though too.
Yeah, right. But so I'm just saying, like, as of right now, let's just say that's like, well, everybody retires today, and we'll say 10 names are first ballot. He might be.
Yeah, he could be.
I feel like he will. Just his reputation is up there. Like, he's arguably a top 3 point guard of all time, right? Third most likely. You could argue.
Time.
Point guard.
Of all time.
That's what people say.
I don't know. Maybe top 5. I won't say top 3.
But I'm just saying you could argue. People argue 3. Like 1 and 2, we know it's between Magic and Steph. But yeah.
Yeah, then you got Oscar Robertson as well.
Yeah, Russell Westbrook, Hall of Famer probably, not a.
Yeah, we already said that.
Oh, sorry, Paul George.
Yeah, in the same boat, I guess.
You gonna give him Hall of Fame lock?
Yeah, it's not first ballot.
Kawhi Leonard.
First ballot.
Kevin Durant.
First ballot.
Jokic. Now, is he now first ballot? I think he is.
Yeah, now he is.
Okay, so then Giannis.
First ballot.
Lillard. He probably will get in, but not first ballot.
Not first ballot.
Kyrie Irving. Arguably first ballot.
Arguably, yeah.
So here's the thing. Kyrie Irving, the player, yes. Now people might put his antics.
It's about basketball.
I'm putting this about basketball, but you know how people. But you know how people.
It's
are.
about.
The voters. I'm talking
I know
about.
people are idiots.
But this is us two idiots doing this. So yes, he's a Hall of
But those guys are idiots too. If they put antics into this.
Jimmy
this
Butler.
Is about basketball.
Jimmy Butler. Not first ballot.
Not first ballot.
Kyle Lowry.
Not first ballot.
James Harden.
Not first ballot.
Kevin Love.
Not probably, first ballot.
Okay. And Embiid, Luka, DeMar.
I mean,
Luka's too early. Embiid, because he has an MVP. He wasn't
not first ballot.
And as of right now, I guess.
And DeMar not first ballot.
But you're saying DeMar's in, but not close. Like people are saying DeMar's close, but he might not be in. But I feel like if Paul George is in, DeMar should be in as well.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying he's a better player than Paul George. I still take Paul George slightly, but at the end of the day, like, he's a 20.
DeMar and Paul.
He's a 20K scorer. In the league.
DeMar and Paul George are at the bottom of the list.
Any names I missed potentially?
No.
Tatum, I guess eventually, but not.
That's
right
too
now.
young.
Yeah, so the rest are probably too young.
All right, so let's go to Canada roster.
Okay, so FIBA, Canada have officially announced their roster, and the best roster they've announced, right? The NBA notable NBA players that are on this roster. Usually, there's not many. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, R.J. Barrett, O'Shea Brissett, Dylan Brooks, Lou Dort, NCAA College Player of the Year Zach Edey. I'll just mention him. And obviously not NBA. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, probably the best Canadian in my opinion.
Yeah.
Corey Joe, he's a staple there. Corey
Yeah.
Joseph, to be exact. Jamal Murray, the second
Yeah.
best player there. Kelly Olynyk, Dwight Powell. That's it. Okay, those are those guys. So the notable names that are missed.
They might have the best backcourt in FIBA.
Yeah, because knowing what the USA roster
Yeah.
is now. No Wiggins, no Nemhard, young but still. Mathurin, young but still. And then Shaden Sharp again, young but still. And Chris Boucher.
The thing is, they're like,
And no Trey Lyles, which people say are surprising because the coach is Sacramento's coach.
and Trey Lyles is a big, right? And what Canada's lacking right now are bigs.
Yeah, and
so that's why
Boucher as well.
I could see why Nemhart and like Mathurin didn't make it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So what do you think of the roster though? It's
Oh,
definitely
it's
the best
good.
roster,
It's definitely-
solid,
yeah.
exciting. Now the question is, any of these guys gonna pull out? I feel
Hopefully
I know
not.
and I know they had a contract signed. I know Nick Nurse is no longer there, but you have to be like 3 year try to commit for 3 years, which is why Wiggins didn't originally commit.
Yeah.
But the rest of these guys I think had committed.
Yeah.
So if you were your ideal lineup, I'll tell you mine after. But you
It's
go.
Shea, Jamal,
Yeah.
obvious. It's probably gonna be Dwight Powell starting 5, and then it's gonna be. I was gonna go a little bit small, but I'm going with RJ and Dort.
Is that what you want, or is that what you think will happen for both?
That's what I want.
Is that what do you think will
I
happen?
don't think that was. I think that's like the best lineup too.
Okay, so you're saying like Dylan Brooks off the bench.
Yeah.
So for me, it's my ideal lineup. I agree with you. I think that's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna take out RJ Barrett personally. I would put him in the 6-man role, but I know that'll be tough because his dad is literally the president. But I would go Lou Dort because of the defense. That's it, and then throw in Kelly Olynyk.
So you want to go a little bit bigger?
Yeah, a little bit bigger because or you could start Zach Edey. I don't know if Zach Edey starts.
He's a giant.
He's a 7'4". Like again, he's slow, but it's FIBA, not NBA.
Yeah. The thing is, they definitely have like the firepower to like mix up positions, right?
Yeah.
Because this is the thing is like if your best player is struggling, you still have options that could potentially steal a win for you.
Keep in mind this is extended Canada roster, so people either go get cut, which we know the NBA players won't,
Yeah.
or the NBA players could genuinely just
pull out.
Pull out. So it's a training camp roster.
Yeah.
But we finally got the roster. I'm excited for this if it stays. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I will wake up early for some of these games if I have to.
Yeah. So now finally,
Soccer.
which we also end up with, but
Yeah, I thought we planned NBA to end with, but it's fine. Soccer though. Let's start off with some little sadder news, not tragic news. Obviously, nothing happened in terms of passing or anything, but like more on the emotional side of things. That's the best way to put it. Dele Alli had a sit-down interview with
Gary Neville.
Gary Neville, and so I don't know what I forgot what the pod is. I'll look it up when you talk. But just talked about his history. Then those of you who don't know Dele Alli or haven't heard of him in a while, he was like a lock for England at one point, right? Tottenham Cam,
Best young player in the
one of the
game.
best young players in the game at the time, and all of a sudden fell off after the 2018 World Cup, essentially. I would say more around COVID time, right?
Yeah.
And now I don't even know where he is. I think he's in Turkey somewhere, and he's been struggling there. He went to Everton, struggled there. And here's what happened with his childhood. He had an alcoholic mom, was molested by his mom's friend at 6, started smoking at 7, started dealing drugs at 8, selling them, hung off a bridge at 11, and then he finally got adopted to what he's had a great family at 12. And he obviously was emotional during this, like any player and person. I'm not going to say player in this case. Any person would. And it goes to show that, like, and he's recently was in rehab because a lot of the trauma came back to him, right? And I obviously have never experienced this. Obviously, you have never experienced this. And one thing I do want to say is, as much as we criticize players, as much as they deserve to be criticized for their play on the field, but like we see these racism comments, we see all this shit come out. We don't know what the person is going through, right? We're gonna criticize Dele Alli or he doesn't want to be called Ali because of his father. He doesn't want to associate Dele. We could criticize his. We know we're gonna see. We don't know what's happening behind the scenes ourselves, for sure. But we're gonna criticize his play on the field. But those people that take it to a personal level is where we have to draw the line.
Yeah,
right?
personal level is definitely drawing the line. The fact that this man has made it this far
It
deserves.
was a lock on the England roster.
No, just like from his childhood
Oh, yeah.
up to this point, it just props to him, right? Just for just staying and battling, right?
Yeah.
For all the issues he had to deal with. So like as a person, that's a is like an inspiration story because of him going through all those struggles and all that stuff.
Podcast is called, or the show is called The Overlap. I just want to put
Yeah.
that out there.
So then the fact that you're still going managed your way to a professional footballer, right? Because that's what you are, is props to him because the path that he was going down was obviously not his fault, but it was just something that he was put in,
Yeah.
and then a lot of people don't come out of.
Yeah. So props to him for that. Again, it's fair play to criticize his play on the field because, again, on the surface level, we don't know what happened, but you still got to criticize because at the end of the day, you're a professional athlete. You got to do it, right? Obviously, the Rashford, Saka, Sancho misses. Like, the racism is insane in Europe, and we're not political. We're not going to get into that stuff, but even like as Man United fans, we criticize Sancho and we're criticizing him. We're saying, yeah, we should sell him. At the end of the day, yeah, if he's struggling, you sell him. No matter what happens behind the scene, that's the unfortunate business of the thing. But Sancho did take a time of absence because of mental issues, and we don't know what those issues are. But again, we're not saying that, but we're saying like guys on the just Twitter space or whatever, just saying like, oh yeah, blah 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 this. Like we don't know what players go as through as a person.
Like you said, criticize a person, criticize a player as
Not
a fan.
not a person.
I mean,
A player.
the player, yeah.
Yeah.
But just don't ever make it personal.
Yeah.
And we know us saying that is not gonna
Change
change anything, but or like it's gonna affect anyone or anything. But in general, people like need to realize that these guys are humans, right? They're not like robot made. They're not like Superman or anything. Like they're still as us. They just worked harder than us for like to get to their dreams.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, at the end of the day, players know what they have signed up for, but they haven't signed up for certain types of
like
abuse.
repeatedly getting
Yeah,
that type of abuse.
like they just should sell them, trade them. Players they cannot. We've seen players react to those badly, but those ones you have to acknowledge. This don't go for personal attacks because it's not obviously this story. Maybe fans did not know about this, and as long as it didn't go personal with it, now like in hindsight we could see like okay, now we know why he was struggling.
Yeah, but
now
we have a major issue.
we have a story now,
like
right?
a big reason why.
Yeah. But again, unfortunately, in the business of sports, whatever you're going through or not, it sucks.
Like you gotta perform.
You gotta perform,
and that's the type of
win.
And that's a criticism that's
some
fine.
coaches do not sell, and obviously we say like, why are you not selling him? Blah blah blah. And then now in this case, maybe Tottenham, which I'm gonna get to Pochettino for a second, or later to the story, was like, no, I'm giving him an opportunity because the coach may know what happened, right? So there's a reason why maybe someone didn't get sold as quickly as they should have, or benched as quickly as they should have. Speaking of Pochettino, he would love to bring in Dele to Chelsea and give him a lifeline and opportunity to see.
And then Dele Alli really did shine.
And I
Pochettino.
hope he comes back. And
because Dele Alli struggled under Mourinho, but he shined under Pochettino.
I hope
So it kind of makes sense.
I do hope he makes a comeback and he kills it.
Yeah.
Right. So we go for that. Signing updates. Us officially, we got Manchester United. Tough transition, but officially Manchester United have got their goalie. Onana is.
Yeah, copyright.
We're not singing the song. I said Onana. Andre Onana is officially a Man United player. Here we go from Fabrizio Romano was tweeted, and obviously he'll work out the medical visa and go on the U.S. trip. Backup goalie also rumored is Zion Suzuki, Japanese player,
mentioned
goaltender,
before as well.
Yeah, so but they're paying more attention to. Rasmus Højlund because they need a goalie from Atalanta or a striker from Atalanta. Declan Rice also officially announced, and a guy that's always in transfer rumors has finally been transferred. No one's really watched him play because no one really watches Lazio, I guess, outside of the Lazio fans in the Italian league.
Yeah.
But Milinkovic-Savic, who was linked to Man United like every year, I believe,
legit
is
every
now
year, yeah.
gone, but not to Man United, but to Al Hilal, the team Messi was supposed to join. So there he joins
the Saudi Pro League.
Yeah, Saudi Pro League. And another person that joined the Saudi Pro League who hired coach Al Ettifaq hired Steve Gerrard as the coach. Steven Gerrard as the coach.
Gerrard, yeah.
Is bringing his former teammate, former Liverpool companion,
Jordan
Henderson, who got a massive pay raise there, and is obviously going. It was funny watching Gerrard coach though, because I showed you that video.
Yeah.
the language barriers.
They didn't understand him.
Yeah, and
you know what it reminds me of is like when Saudi Arabia played Argentina, and the halftime message was the coach was French and he was talking English and he had to translate.
Yeah.
And then you have two people yelling at him. You have one guy yelling at him in English and one guy yelling at him in Arabic.
It's hilarious. But obviously that will be obviously it's gonna be a struggle. But so those are a bit like the names now. Sofiane Amrabat is up because Man United want another center mid. Liverpool need a center mid because Fabinho is rumored to leave as well. I'll look up some rumors quickly, but before we get to the rumors, Gold Cup. Again, it's been going on. So we missed everything during midweek and Sunday because we recorded early, or Monday, but we recorded early Sunday for Monday. Canada, US. Let's start with that.
It's a good
PKs.
Good performance, right? Like the younger guys got experience. Ali Ahmed was great until he had to sub off. Schaffelberg with a big goal.
Yeah.
I didn't know who he was, so I called him Mullet Man. But then he scored a goal, so I gotta know his name now.
Here's the thing with that. It should not have been a quarterfinal game. Canada should have easily won that group. So
Yeah.
they did this to themselves. They easily could have played them in the semis. But obviously, ultimately, at least had their best performance. And Ali Ahmed should be making one of the guys, maybe Schaffelberg. Dane Sinclair could be a starter now. But the other two guys I mentioned should easily make the A squad, essentially. At least for depth, right? Now, still lacking a number 6, but at least you have the center mid depth.
Yeah, you're getting players got to play, right?
Had a game.
Kamal Miller had a good game too, yeah.
So, continuing with the Gold Cup. Mexico ultimately ended up winning it at the time of this recording today, 1-0 over Panama. Panama did beat the U.S. in the semis, so in PKs themselves. Keep in mind, not a lot of the top players played, especially in the U.S.
No one really played.
So it's more of a depth squad tournament. I wish it wasn't, but it is what it is.
The players got a rest too.
A couple of rumors before we end it off with the Women's World Cup, which starts Thursday.
Yeah.
Inter are planning for Juan Cuadrado. He's a free agent.
Yeah.
Here's the funny. Messi officially unveiled. Had it in Miami.
Yeah.
Inter Miami today had a huge thing there. But here's a funny story about Lukaku. So, we know what Lukaku's story is after Everton. Man United got rid of him for Inter. Then Inter, he rejected City, but then Chelsea came to offer. He's like, you know what? I want to go back to Chelsea. Didn't like Tuchel, went back to Inter. And he's on loan, right? So, fast forward now to this point. He's like, I'm never going to be playing for Juventus or like AC Milan. He's committed to Inter. Now, what happened was Chelsea and Inter are working out a deal to get him done fully transferred. His agents were working on that. But reports came out behind their back, including his agents who now dropped him was working behind to get a deal done with Juventus.
So Lukaku himself, yeah.
Yeah. So reportedly he was mad that he did not start in the final. Maybe a valid argument or not, I don't know.
I mean, the performance you put on the final, good thing he didn't start you.
But yeah, so we're at the stage now where he might be a Juventus player, but Inter has officially backed out completely. The most loyal man in football.
The snake. The snake.
Yeah, so that's it for the news, at least from what I know. Onana's a top 5 expensive goal in the Premier League. Kepa being 1, Alisson being 2. Not in the Premier League, sorry. Overall European. And Buffon was 3. He's probably 4 or tied for 3. Xavi Simons is bought back by PSG and sent on loan to Real. Right. They used a buyback clause, bought him, and then loaned him to Red Bulls Leipzig.
Okay.
Those are the news.
That's it, right?
Women's World Cup, let's end off there. Starts on Thursday, I believe. So we might as well do a little preview right now because I don't know how much we'll talk about it on Wednesday.
USA are the favorites.
No surprise there. Canada obviously announced their roster. And you were a little underwhelmed, but I feel like it's still the same roster. They're going to be defensively heavy like they were last time.
Yeah.
When they won the Olympic gold.
They were like defensive football right there.
The big issue that they're somehow the 7th favorite in odds, which is fair. Not fair. I don't think it's fair, but which I think
it's top 5.
I think they should be top 4. because they were Olympic. Like the only team ahead of them should realistically be USA still,
USA,
and England, for sure,
England,
because they won the Euros.
oh,
I think like, those
Euros.
are the two teams that should be.
I don't know
Their
about like
group
Germany,
is
Sweden.
their
Are
group
pretty
is
good too.
decent. They have like the best striker in the game. Sam Kerr is going for Australia. And she's at home. I think Nigeria has a really good striker, and the third team is Ireland. Their first time qualifying. So realistically, they should come a top.
They should be top of the group. They should be top of the
Right,
group.
the expectation would be top. Problem is the whole scandal with Canada soccer going on. Well, when is it scandal? The whole issues. How much is that going to be on their head as well, right? So
I think them getting the temporary deal done
should clear up some things, but like obviously read, last
but
time
for
reports
me,
of freaking bankruptcy coming out of nowhere is gonna be like, okay, what the hell? Like, are we really gonna get paid?
Yeah, no, but for me, like, you're playing,
yeah, but
your biggest tournament, and it shouldn't be an excuse for like why you're performing.
But
bad.
I wouldn't be surprised if shit goes down behind the scenes that we don't know about. Is what I'm saying. But personally, expectations should be semifinals. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
they usually struggle in the World Cup.
They do better in the Olympics.
They do better in the Olympics usually, but they struggle in the World Cup. They usually go get out of the group now, but you lose in the first or second.
Quarterfinals, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously we're still heavily rooting. I know you're a little underwhelmed with the offense, and because a lot of the offense is
a lot of people are injured too, right?
Huh?
People are injured too.
Janine Becky. Jade Rose. They called up 2 young 18-year-olds as well. A couple of players came back from injury, and then this is St. Clair's last World Cup, so I'm sure she's motivated for sure. Like probably playing the number 10, like Harry Kane. She reminds me of Harry Kane a lot now.
Yeah,
lack of pace, but like playmaking striker that still could score. So
yeah.
Jordan Heidemann used to have a big game, but then it depends on how she gets the ball from the midfield. So it depends on how it goes. Chloe Lacoste and stuff like names like that.
I mean, midfield is decent. I mean, they don't have Desiree Scott anymore, which was definitely a big loss.
Yeah,
that's a huge. That's why I was like, where is Desiree Scott? And he told me she's injured. That's where I'm like, because she runs that 6.
Yeah,
very
Gwen
well.
is gonna be tasked with that role now.
Yeah,
but yeah, early favorite USA probably winning it.
Yeah, USA.
Straight. I know they have a big injury in Mallory Pugh, if I'm not mistaken. But Dennis Rodman's daughter made the team, so there's that story for them. Other favorites, in my opinion, you could probably say England.
You can say England.
The women's team that actually wins something.
The Netherlands.
Well, I guess the U20 team won.
I think Netherlands were the finalists for
last
the previous
time.
one. Yeah.
Sweden's still going to be dangerous.
Sweden
Brazil
took out
still be
Canada.
dangerous. Yeah.
In the round of 16.
So yeah, I'm excited. I know it's the Women's World Cup, and people are going to be like, yeah, it's not going to be big as the Men's World Cup. But hey, Canada for me is involved, and for you is involved. We're watching. So
yeah.
Yeah, I think that ends today's pod.
Yeah.
Give you guys a heads up right now. We'll be dropping a video on Saturday, so make sure you guys check that out. We will not tell you what it is, but you could take a guess of what we've posted. That's all I'm going to say. That's the hint. Other than that, make sure you guys check out our previous videos that we've released that are not sports podcast related, and tune in for a potential surprise next week. I'm going to tease that.
Yeah.
So pressure's on us to get this done. But other than that, anything from you?
No. Thanks for watching. Made it this far. Please subscribe, comment if you agree, disagree with anything or anything we missed. Yeah, the usual stuff.
All right, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.